Hey guys, welcome back to How Come. This is your host, Remy Casimir. I still haven't had an orgasm, but this is episode 5, and I am so fucking excited. If you are not caught up, last week my assignment was to go to the doctor, so I did that, and now I am sitting with my co-host today, David Goldberg, the LGBT comedy and things to do editor at Timeout New York. Our two guests are sex educators. They run classes out of 3F Studios. They do masturbation classes. They do kettlebell classes. They do wrestling. They do all of these different types of sexual classes, healing. They do domination. They do bondage, couples classes. They do fellatio classes, cunnilingus classes, tantric massage, all this stuff. And we are going to learn about it today. And then they're going to give me an assignment, and hopefully we will see if I come. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's been listening to the podcast all over the world. I didn't realize how many countries that we are in. It's actually crazy. But I wanted to give a shout out to some of my Canadian friends, Chelsea Koplovich, love you, and everybody else who's been listening. So let's just get this episode started. It is going to be a good one. I'm so pumped. This week on How Come?
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
I am here with the amazing David Goldberg as my guest co-host this week. He's the LGBT editor, the comedy editor, and the things to do around New York City editor at Timeout New York. And we love him so much.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow. What
Wait,
an honor.
Can you hear your voice?
Yeah, I can hear my voice. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Welcome to me.
No, seriously, very pumped for you to be here.
Thank you.
Like, we were connected, and then ever since we met, we are kindred.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
David's also, I don't mean to jump into this all crazy, but he's our first male gay guest.
Yes, you know, the white gay perspective is something that in this
We
world
don't
we don't
hear
get
enough
enough
of.
Yeah. Someone has to do it. I'm really brave.
Literally, like, the best thing that's happened to me this year, I have to say, is openly gay figure skating.
Yeah.
Second best thing is
Yeah.
Call Me By Your Name.
Yes. Seen it 5 times.
5 times?
Yes.
Who did you see it with the first time?
I saw it with the person who introduced it to me, but the best viewings were alone because
You
then I
could just
could
cry.
really and my therapist, I went twice directly after therapy because my therapist was like, "What's that book that helps you open up emotionally?" And I was like, "All right, I'll go.
Wait, what's the book?
Call Me By Your Name." And then when the movie came out, I was like, "This is like easy
wait,
access
it was a
emotional."
book first?
It's my favorite book. Yeah, I've read the book like 4
So
times.
you've been with your therapist for a really long time.
It's been like a year and a half.
Okay.
She's a lesbian, as all therapists should be, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, she's great.
Wait, so
Gay figure skating, Call Me By Your Name.
gay figure skating, Call Me By Your Name. And then, oh my God, Love, Simon is also coming out.
Okay, I am reading that book for book club, and I was thinking about, I was really angry today, and I was like, what if I just ripped this in half and just started throwing pages?
You're not into it?
It's okay. It's fine.
It's okay.
It's going to be okay.
Okay.
I don't know what is with, like, I don't want to say like the youth of today, but like this first person present tense in young adult novels is so cloying and just, they can't be this stupid. I just can't believe it.
I mean, have you read 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah, which was really.
Did you try?
I tried.
Like,
it's gibberish.
it is gibberish. She refers to her vagina as her sex.
Oh, that's right.
And he touched my sex. What the fuck are you talking about? And she's like very clearly anorexic. She's like, oh, my favorite movie premiered me yogurt.
I know. And in the movie, she's like daring and has Ben and Jerry's, which he tries to eat off of her pussy, which is like, wow. Anyways, I have seen all 3 movies opening weekend.
Of course.
Yeah, you have to know.
The thing is in order for good smut to be made, first there has to be, some bad stuff to ease us all into it.
The Cosmic Order.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, and then, so we don't like Love, Simon, but it is nice to see,
Yeah, I shouldn't bitch about it. I'm sure I'm going to love the movie and cry. This
Yeah.
happened with The Fault in Our Stars. I like sobbed in the movie, but the book I was like, what is going on?
I
Anyways,
never
it's
saw The
fine.
Fault in Our Stars because I didn't want to cry that hard at that
Yeah.
time.
Well, Laura Dern is the mom. So, anyways, but
It's
yeah,
a
Love
lot of
Simon
emotion.
culture. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
culture.
White culture.
Yeah, white gay culture. It's just like it's the resurgence of white gay culture again.
Terrifying.
No, I mean the fucking Queer Eye is back.
Which is great. It is triumphant. Like, I was resistant to it, and I do think it's excellent.
It's so good.
It's really good TV. It's really well edited. Karamo's hot. Like, they got it going
Can you
on.
believe that Karamo is back on TV in such a major way?
What was he from?
Karamo's from The Real World.
What?
He was the first openly gay black man on The Real World.
What season?
I'm going to fact check that.
Ugh. See, I think if you haven't done the Real World Road Rules Challenge, you're not like, I don't know you as well.
You're not in the zeitgeist.
Because to me, the challenge is Jewish summer camp,
Agreed.
and normal Real World is just like
Well, now it's
not
Bachelor
Jewish.
Nation.
Right,
Like
right.
they're the
Batch and pair, yeah.
batch and pair. Ugh, I just want to be. I don't want to be friends with them,
Oh God,
but I want to know their drama. I also want to be part of the Vanderpump crew. But like,
that food is inedible.
have you been there?
It is, and I didn't even know what was going on. It is really bad. I mean, it was really. I mean, I don't know how you make a bad salad,
No,
but it
I've
was
heard that
humiliating.
actually that all of Lisa's restaurants are highly flawed,
Sexy and unique, though.
sexy and unique,
Yeah.
and white houses. All right, so yeah, let's talk a bit, I guess, about the gay experience besides pop culture, because pop culture is what we know, but human emotion, I think, is more important.
You know, I've been thinking like the reason that this podcast speaks to me so much and you being so open, because I just feel like I have been so boxed in my whole life by whatever role I think I'm supposed to be playing in the gay sex economy. And like you trying to flip your own script really resonates with me.
Thanks. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's for everybody is trying to fit into these like molds that we're supposed to, like no matter what world you're coming in. We both come from like, white Jewish world where
Yeah.
like you're supposed to be a doctor or a lawyer, have kids,
Right.
get a car, like.
Right. I think, when you say that, I think like I went from being just like nice Jewish boy to being nice Jewish bottom, and I never grew out of that. And now I'm really I'm really like trying to fight that. Like I really want to be topping. I really want to be enjoying bottoming. Yeah, I want to be doing foot stuff. I want to be doing a lot of stuff, but I still just feel like any deviation, any way of seeking my own pleasure outside of like what I was taught when I was 18 would work for me, or what I was supposed to do as like a twink back in the day, I can't do it.
Do you identify as a twink?
In my head, I'm an 18-year-old meeting, I'm 27, but in my head, I'm still 18 meeting like 26-year-old guys who are so much older and have their own apartments, and I have to do whatever they say, and like my orgasm or my pleasure doesn't really count for anything.
Right.
So I'm really struggling.
Yeah, so you and I are very the same in that way, that like you're always just trying to strive for somebody else's approval in the bedroom instead of actually like seeking your own pleasure.
100%.
Which is like the whole point of this. So this is a really easy segue, but my assignment this week was to go to my gynecologist and to my therapist and check out if the SSRIs that I'm on are probably inhibiting my orgasms.
Hello.
Yeah. She said no,
Okay.
because I haven't gone down in my sex drive. And because I haven't had orgasms before therapy, we can't rule it out.
Okay, so it's not like one of those things, because I've had this where you get on anxiety meds and you feel like you're trying to like light a fire because you're just like, where is it? Just like jerking. And it's like, it's there, but for some reason,
Right.
it's not
and I've had that experience too, but that's not
That's not what's going
here.
on. No.
No.
This is deeper, again, Jewish, deeper, maybe
Guilt.
inherited, maybe from the Holocaust.
Oh my God.
So we're ruling out medication.
Ruling out medication, one. And then I went to my gynecologist because I was like, listen, the book that I have, like, I don't even know if the parts that I have are what's supposed to be there. I've watched porn, but like vaginas look fucking different. I was like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I need somebody
I couldn't tell you.
to get in there and like tell me what's what.
Yeah.
Like, if everything's working. So my gynecologist had a nice little look-see.
Great.
She did everything. She was like, you are so normal, so cute down there.
Hello.
Yes. So that was just like a huge relief.
Okay.
Which is so stupid. That's like, why haven't you gone up till this point, Remy? And it was because I just didn't have this podcast that was like holding me to it. Like, and I was just so afraid that like, if that were the case, like, what do you do then?
Well, but also it's possible you were also afraid that it wasn't the case and that it is an emotional thing, because that really involves work.
Totally.
If it had been an anatomical thing,
then I could just write it off.
Right.
Be like, well.
So now like the real
saga
begins. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say that too, because so upon first going in, I was like, hey, I'm nervous about being here. Like, is this normal for me even to come in for this problem? And she was like, yes, a lot of women do. Like,
wow,
don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, cool. And so she didn't do anything hands-on. Like, she wasn't trying to like get me off in the moment, but she like tweaked some stuff and like made sure all the parts were there and they were working.
Holler.
And then she recommended me these 2 books, and I highly recommend them to everybody.
Okay.
Just touching on the diagram thing, this one actually shows diagrams that are more realistic.
All right.
So you can really compare yourself. And it's called Our Bodies, Ourselves. It's really big, fat book. It's about aging and everything. Like everything you'll ever need to know.
It sounds like one of those books that gets updated every year, and the author is 600 years old and owns 25 pools.
But you know Dr. Ruth is still the best sex
Yes,
therapist
babe.
out there, so she's got a lifetime of knowledge.
She's due for an Oprah level comeback.
I'm
like
trying to
she's
get her
gonna
on
have a
this
speech at the
podcast
Golden
so
Globes.
hard
Yeah,
you don't even know.
she'll be here.
She'll be here. And then the second book is called For Yourself. And it is just a fucking dope book. Yes.
Treasure trove?
Treasure trove. Like, okay, so remember how you and I were talking about how you liked in episode 2 when we were talking about grooming?
Yes.
And you were like, oh my God, that's so eye-opening that like you're grooming ultimately for yourself.
Yes.
To make yourself feel sexy.
Right, because what are they going to... Right.
Because you're supposed to feel good. And like, how else are you supposed to further feel good unless you initially feel good about yourself? So like a lot of what we've been exploring in these previous episodes are like, well, what if the guy doesn't care? Like, it seems like the guy doesn't care if I get off, or like maybe it seems like your partner doesn't care if you get off, or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then in this book, it's like, well, who cares if they care? Ultimately, yes, you are supposed to care about your person, but this is for yourself. You're supposed to care.
It's such a tricky, paradoxical thing. I mean, I'm a go-go dancer too on the side. So
right. We didn't talk about that.
It's all good. I mean, but if I'm like doing it for myself, feeling myself, looking in the mirror and feeling sexy, which weed helps with that.
Hell yeah.
Then it is the best night ever. I danced at a lesbian party on Friday and I ruled. They were eating out of my hands. I felt so good about myself. However, if it gets flipped to like where I'm too reliant on the audience's energy, I'm too reliant on their approval. Do these guys like me? Do these guys think I'm hot? I'll just cave in on myself.
Yeah.
But it's hard to control this.
Is he looking at this? Does he think this is
Oh,
weird? Did
God.
he just smell that fart?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, especially with anal. It's like, we do not know where this is going.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How? Okay, so you said when you were learning everything, you were 18. Is
Yeah.
that the first time you lost your virginity?
Yeah. So this is such an interesting thing. Nothing is interesting, but
Everything's interesting.
I came out of the closet really like when I was 15 or 16, but then I didn't have anyone to hook up with because I went to Jewish private school. So it's like, yeah, I'm like the deviant, but I didn't kiss anyone till I was 18. So in some ways, I'm more of a prude than all of the boring straight people who now like have insurance jobs that I grew up with.
Which is so weird and backwards because then you have to put yourself in these 2 roles that like you're like the sassy gay friend who's going to teach all of his girlfriends to give blowies, but like you've not given a blowy.
Which therefore neutered me, and here I am at 27 now, like starting to reclaim
Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, so...
And it's not too late.
It's not too late, but I do kind of look back because, I basically turned 18 and went to my first gay club and like made out with 3 guys, and then I lost my virginity like 2 weeks later, and there was no like... kissy lovey, like let's hold hands and watch a PG movie. Like there was no transition. It was just like, you are now going to have someone inside you. Right. Like, welcome. He does not care about you, and just like, close your eyes and it'll be over soon.
Who was that person?
Well,
I mean, no
at
names.
Jewish summer camp.
Oh, no way.
The way Jewish summer camp, which you probably know this,
yes,
is that 18-year-old Jewish American princesses go to Jewish summer camp to lose their virginity to 25-year-old Israelis who have just come out of the army.
Wait, 18? I was
Oh,
done
you
with
started
camp
younger.
when I was like 15.
What? But not when you were a counselor.
I didn't become a counselor.
So you become a counselor to lose your virginity.
Okay, so
You
you're
have
like
your
a
first
CIT,
kiss as a camper.
then a counselor.
Right.
Okay.
But there's this huge age discrepancy. So you have these Japs like me who are
Mm-hmm.
just like idiots. I mean, just fucking idiots. Then you have these like post-Mossad operatives who are basically coming to Jewish summer camps because it's a free ride to the States, and then they can go do their walkabout in Guatemala, blah, blah, blah. Anyways,
Hot soldiers.
I see some, but when you're 18, they're all extremely hot. Now I'm just like, oh, you are not. Anyways.
It's camp goggles too.
Camp goggles.
Just like birthright goggles.
Just like real world
whoever-
road rules goggles.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Whoever
Hello.
the hottest one in your immediate 5 feet radius
And
is,
especially of
is a
the
god.
other gays.
Yeah.
Like anyway, so it was the arts and crafts. The arts and crafts person, I lost my virginity to, and it was like
Very
way too
nice.
fast, out of control.
He's like, I really love how you're putting your popsicle birdhouse together.
It's like his dick was way too big. This is the other thing I'm struggling with lately. Is
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, big is good, but like you can't marry big.
Well, I think about that all the time, like because like I've had a very loving anal. It can be loving and cute.
Love it.
Why would a gay man want to date a man with a huge penis though? It hurts.
It's fun. Yeah. It's like great. Hold on to this.
Hold on
It's
to
such
it,
like a
look at
feeling
it,
of security.
beautiful.
Yeah, hey, listen, once in a while, bar mitzvahs, birthdays, fine, but like I am not waking up to that. I've been hooking up with this. Okay, whatever. Someone I've been hooking up with recently, I have thought like I can't marry this. Not that it's on the table, but I'm like this. There's just no way. There's no way because the brain damage from doing poppers for the rest of my life wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
is there a butt equivalent to Kegels?
There is.
There is?
I mean, we're gonna get confirmation of that in a minute. I'm holding on to our our expert panel says that
okay.
there is. Yeah, there is. Yes.
Okay, cool.
And I mean, listen. Again, the one plus about being Jewish, because of my deep anxiety, I am always very clenched. So like, I'm tight down there all the time.
Nice.
To a flaw. It's very hard for me to relax.
And me too.
Yeah.
But I wanted to. I have to let you guys in on this little thing, and I've already told you. I've been cheating a bit. I
Okay.
went ahead in my plans. I wasn't going to start working with different sex toys until somebody had referred me to them.
Right.
But I was on a different podcast like 3 weeks ago called The Good, the Dad, and the Ugly. And it's a podcast where 3 guys interview only women on their
Oh my God,
perspective.
this is my worst nightmare, but continue.
No, it was amazing.
Okay.
They're like very sensitive, amazing comedians. Shout out to them. And one of them referred me to this sex toy called the Womanizer, and it is a clit suction device.
Yeah.
So I've just been really wanting to try it, and no, I did not come, but I tried it, and I honestly think if I give it the good college try, it's going to happen with this thing.
Damn.
I swear to God, like.
Yes.
I'm so pumped. I just tried. So in the hour before this episode, I picked it up.
Damn.
And then I was sitting in my room while my boyfriend was finishing some editing. And I was just like so jazzed on I was like, I gotta just see what this feels like. And I like tried it on while he's like working right next to me. And I was squirming like a little motherfucker. Like I was like, if I leave this on for like 2 more minutes, like we're done.
I love this.
Like
podcast over.
and it was just like the nicest feeling.
So this is good.
Yeah.
But I also think this is you may not have even been able to enjoy the Womanizer if you hadn't gotten to this point of like you're on a journey, you're trying things
100%.
out, no judgment. I think if you had tried the Womanizer out a few weeks ago, it might have been a different thing.
I 100%
so we're getting somewhere.
agree. And I've been using, I used it in conjunction with just like finishing like some of the pages in for yourself. It's a really, really, really good book.
I gotta check it out. I need it.
Like one of the things that it said in it was that women who came in for this study who were anorgasmic, people who had never come before or lost their ability to come, came in and immediately everyone diagnosed it as a psychological problem and says, oh, well, you need therapy and you need all this stuff, so that it makes women think, oh my God, there's an underlying emotional issue, which I've been thinking this must be an underlying emotional issue instead of just thinking, oh, this takes work and this, Also, one of the things that it said, I was like, the way that we're taught to have sex is really to stimulate the man's penis, and that's the part that ejaculates, whereas the woman's clit is essentially her penis, and the vagina is much more akin to balls. So if we were having sex the way that women would like, it would be men rubbing their balls on our clits. All the women would be coming, none of the men would, and then they'd be in all these anorgasmic classes.
And then the guilt undercuts everything. Like, why aren't I doing it right? Why aren't I unclenching, etc.? Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with like where you started or whatever, or like it's everybody has to figure out their body and work on it like with homework.
What I'm working on, and I'm going to ask our experts for advice with this, is like I recently was able to come for the first time being penetrated, and that was because I was doing it with someone I was in love with. So I felt very safe.
Yes.
And then it was like, boom, it came right out. And now I'm just like, now that I'm back, rickety crickety and alone, I'm just like, okay, is it going to be me not coming again while these guys are just like impaling me, or am I going to get to enjoy this, or what?
I think that feeling of safety, though, is just lends to an overall feeling of comfort.
Right. And
so it's however you can get to that comfort. Like one of my guests was saying, she's like, I can feel comfortable with a guy just because I can tell he's like a sexual pro. I can tell he knows what he's doing. He doesn't necessarily, like it's just whatever way that you can become
that's a good point.
Cozy. Or it's just like, this person's worse looking than me. I know he's not going to make fun.
Or this person's a hot piece. Like, look how good I'm doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. I think we covered everything.
Great.
That we need to do, right?
And
oh, no. Your first time coming.
Okay. So also Jewish summer camp. In 8th grade, I saw One a Date with Ted Hamilton with Josh Duhamel, which started me being like, all right.
He is probably doing so well after watching Fergie's song.
I know, bless his heart.
Jesus.
He's also the dad in Love, Simon, which I'm like, can you imagine in middle America if a dad looked like Josh Duhamel? No. Under no circumstances.
But he also went to the Piggly Wiggly. Could you ever imagine?
Well, when she chooses fucking Topher Grace at the end, I just remember being like, bitch, kill yourself. Yeah. Okay, so I saw that movie, and then for like, I was sexual after that. And then for like a year after, I was watching porn, but I didn't know how to like operate it. 14, 15. Okay. Then I went to summer camp, and everyone was jerking off, and we had exposed showers for the first time where like you're seeing everything. And I was like so stimulated, but I just didn't know what to do. And then when I came home from camp, I was so like out of my mind horny because I had just been with like a month of that. I was somehow able to just like find the right stroke, and then it was like off to the races.
Nice. I have a question just because Jewish summer camp, like one of my gay best friends was picked on during Jewish summer camp.
Yeah.
And it is one of the most traumatizing experiences of his life to this day.
Yeah.
Do you find it was similar in that like...
I really struggle with it. I've written stories about it. Like I wasn't picked on, and I actually really appreciated that I had a space where I could be with other men or boys or whatever and feel a sense of fraternity that wasn't like something disgusting like a sports team or a frat house. That said, it is such a bizarre miasma of everyone like suddenly deciding that they're sexual or masculine or whatever, that it could be vertiginous. I mean, it was very confusing, but
yeah, and there's all
it's
this,
formative.
Like, I mean, I heard of people like jacking off in circles and stuff, and
yeah, there was a lot of jerking off into water balloons that I remember. I don't really know where that led. Yeah, no, it's clearly formative considering the fact that I've brought it up 17,000 times in this podcast. Yeah. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah. No, I mean, I went to an all-girls camp, and it was formative in the way that we just decided we were all going to masturbate one night, or somebody did, but it was like this weird thing that like everyone jumped into their bed and got under the covers and was like hee 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 hee, and then like raced to come, but nobody knew what they were doing, and you just saw a lot of vaginas that like it was.
It's like when you first smoke weed in high school and you are like, I'm high. See, I'm high. Can't you tell?
I'm high.
And
I'm doing
like,
it. Yeah.
Bitch. Yeah.
Or like at your first sleepover when you're just like, I'm so hyper. I'm going to stay up all night. I'm hyper.
And inside you're like, where's my mom? I just want to go home. Yeah. Oh, God.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'm so excited.
our experts
They're
out.
really good.
Yeah, to talk about some stuff. All right. We have a treat of two guests
O.M.G.
that we are bringing out right now. I would like to introduce to you Lola Jean and Aaron, a.k.a. Dominus Eros. They are from 3F Studios. Lola is a sex educator and a mental health professional. And Aaron started Daddy's Retreat, Pagan's Paradise, and many other wellness, helpful, sexual, healing things that you guys do for other people, right? Yep, and a multitude of other things as well. So essentially, 3F Studios is the hub.
Yeah.
And then you guys have different sex educators running the gamut of...
So originally when we thought of creating our own studio, we wanted it to be a safe haven. Basically for anyone operating within our realm to operate safely, to not feel like they were doing something wrong, and that they had full agency over their work. I treat everyone in there as like a partner. They're all professionals. They bring a lot of different things to the table, a lot of fun different groups. We have multiple groups. Lola does a lot of her own workshops and whatnot at the space, and private work, as well as I do my own private work and the workshops. So it's a really nice place where people can come in, feel safe, explore, and have therapy. I mean, anything that's sexual, I don't know why we make such a sort of a distance between sexual stuff and therapy and think that it's not all the same. For me, it's all the same.
I know you guys do wrestling classes
I do
as
wrestling,
well.
yeah.
Some sex therapy, some erotic massage.
A lot of things you'll see, it goes anywhere from tantric. We even do nude, like fitness type things. So like nude yoga, Pilates, kettlebell training.
I heard there was a dick pic photography class.
Yes, Dictures.
Really beautiful.
Lola brought in someone to help us with that.
Soraya Dulbaz is professional penis photographer, and I was just personally a huge fan of her work.
It's great.
And I met her
amazing.
at Sex Expo last year, and I was like nerding out with her, and I was just like, I have no idea how, but I want to work with you in some way, shape, form, or capacity.
I will say, like, from my professional standpoint, because I do write about a lot of classes that go on in the city for my job, but I think these two are the most creative, and the stuff they do is the most fun. And I think if you do one of their courses, you'll get something rather than just having someone explain to you how to give good head. It's like you're actually going to get to a new level with your pleasure. And I also think, I mean, I can say the reason I love Lola so much is I think a lot of sex educators, which is fine, are very like kind of librarian-like and very just like stern and like, this is a clitoris, this is what you do, which I get, you have to do that. But when I've seen Lola, what I love about you, you're very more like, whatever, it's up to you, I'm just going to show you how to do it right. Like you're very chill. You give a good air.
But also chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Aaron, it's all about, I just think Aaron is very welcoming and inviting, and like it inspires curiosity.
Yeah. Well, how did you guys, like, why is this so important to the two of you specifically? Like, did you ever have your own sexual problems that you were dealing with, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, personally, just for my journey, like, this is like where it was destined to end up. So I've always been a sexual being. The second time I ever had intercourse was a threesome with two guys. So we knew I was destined for sexual greatness.
Great.
But it was something that I kind of grappled with.
The devil's three-way.
Yeah, kind of. I didn't do any backdoor there, but
No, but
Thank
two
God.
guys. That's
two
what
guys.
it's
That is
called. The devil's threesome.
Yes, yeah. I danced with the devil.
Yeah.
It's a good dance.
So yeah, I'd always been like struggling with my sexuality. It was something I felt like it emanated from me. I felt like I was defined from it, or I tried to hide it. It was something I was ashamed of or whatnot. And I was used by men for sex all the time, and sex was something I was curious about, but I wasn't necessarily going after it for my pleasure.
For yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, that really resonated with me too. And it just got to a point too where like, so I went off and like did my own sexual exploration, sometimes in not so healthy ways. Now it's in more healthy ways. And I mean that mentally, but also sometimes physically. But it's just through being an experienced expert. Like I've had a lot of sex with a lot of different people. And I learn things along the way. I'm very intuitive. I'm very curious about it. And it's something where instead of feeling like I'm defined by my sexuality, I'm controlling that conversation, and I'm able to help other people have better sex with themselves and each other. And a lot of that is really just about giving permission. So in sharing my experiences, like the good, bad, and the ugly, and giving people permission that they can feel this way, that like I've already done it 20 times worse, like don't worry about it. One of the like examples that I love to give, I don't even know if you were there for that, but I was doing a mini squirt demo at NSFW, and it was like really last minute, like the PR person just asked if I could throw it together.
When you do that, are you using yourself as
using
the
myself.
demo? Okay,
I like
wow.
using myself as a demo because, like you were saying, with pictures and this or that, I have like a vulva puppet that I use, but I also like using myself because, firstly, it makes me vulnerable first.
Yes.
So it gives other people permission to be vulnerable, but also like you don't know unless you see that. Like so many girls think that their labias are their clits.
Dude, I
was there.
my assignment was to look, and I was like, what am I looking at? Like, it's very confusing. But I had a question. When you were having that unhealthy type of sex in the beginning, like, were you coming or?
Sometimes. What I mean like unhealthy was that I was just like, I'm gonna get sex whenever I want it with whoever I want, and like I wasn't always like pleasured. I didn't always feel good, or I felt used, kind of a thing. Instead of like now, like I come first and I come first.
Sure.
So I do this thing I call I'm not going to touch your penis until you go down on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a fun game.
It is a fun game.
Yeah.
You really get to see who's going to be like a good lover.
It's like playing chicken too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's a winner in that situation.
Yes.
Have you been in that situation?
No, it's supposed to be sort of like that. My mindset is like you have to be a giver, and I was sort of always bred that way. And for me, that's a win-win. Sure.
Yeah.
You want to have your pleasure first, I will sit back and let you have your pleasure. And then when you want me to come around, I'm right there. Wow. Why am I going to have an ego about this? We're together naked. Obviously, something's happening between us.
And you two have been together naked before?
We have been together naked before.
Plenty of times. We first met actually at House of Yes. I was wearing a dandy little outfit. Do you want to describe the outfit really quick? You saw
I think it was leather and your ass was out.
Yes. It was a nice little leather jock strap.
He has a really nice butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work on it.
Let's see. No, I'm just kidding.
But
It's 2018.
So you're a butt stuff.
Oh God, I'm loving all the butt attention. I'll get into that in a second.
Okay,
but Lola
great.
comes over and just beautifully done says, "Do you mind if I grab your ass?"
I think I said you have a very nice ass. Can I touch it?
And then can I touch it? And purely consented. I was like, yes, I'm wearing this, and you may touch it. I want attention. Like that night, I wanted attention. I was gonna lie, but I want people to be respectful, very respectful. I think a lot of the women there were very respectful. Still in the community, gay community, there's a lot of guys who just think it's still permission. Like, oh, you got your ass out, I can just touch it without even asking.
Or like put a finger in it.
Put a finger in it.
I've had that a lot.
I'm like,
lately.
number one, you don't have lube on. Do not shove it into my ass. My
you.
ass is very tight. It needs some coaching.
Also, where has that hand been?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But that's
just
going back to David's point of like having to fit into this mold of like, oh, like I'm the devious gay guy. Like there's this culture in gay clubs and stuff that, oh, you can just do whatever you want.
It's
Like, no,
crazy.
some people are a little more sensitive and like really
just
don't.
ask.
Yeah.
Just, how hard is it to fucking ask? It's like I don't understand why there's such a disconnect with people where
Yeah.
they feel like they own you, and just because you're wearing
Yeah.
something like, oh, I now own you because you've now wore something sexy for me. No, it's not about you, bitch. It's about me.
Right.
Yes.
I want to feel good. I want to be sexy. I like attention, but be nice about it. You could win so much more if you was just nice.
100%.
Yeah,
And you can be wearing
for
the
sure.
sluttiest outfit and not be asking for anything.
Nothing.
You are wearing it for you, and yeah,
Exactly.
If I want to be a diva that night, that's my fucking prerogative. It's nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
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 So you grabbed his butt.
I grabbed his butt. We got to talking a bit, and I don't know how we got into the conversation, but you were telling me about being a pro dom.
Yes.
And at that point, I think I was dabbling personally and realized I kind of had a knack for it. So I wanted to start professionally, but I wasn't really sure
In being a dom?
how to go to professionally.
And for those who don't know what a dom is, can you just enlighten us?
Most people know it as like a dominatrix. Pro dom is the official term, but it's super broad. But in any way, it's like using some sort of BDSM in a
Element.
professional setting for money.
And Aaron is a dominus.
Yeah. Well, Dominus is my
Oh, that's
pro
your
name.
name,
We all
sorry.
have our pro names. It's sort of like our
Like a rave name?
our hero name.
Yeah.
You know, it's
No,
like
it's like a what's the word?
Alter ego.
No, an honorific.
Yes.
So yeah, people have their different honorifics, like sir, madam, daddy,
Yes.
Dominus.
goddess. Yeah.
for males, it's just pro dom. It stops at the DOM, and then for women, it'll be DOMME, right?
Yeah.
Or dominatrix to go the other way.
Yeah.
That's the more classical old
Got it.
term that you might hear. But it's basically anywhere within the kink realm, BDSM realm, please, I hate using 50 Shades, but now it's out there.
It's out
Yeah.
there.
It's sort of in that realm, but done in a way that's much better, much more professionally, and with the care of the person who's going through the experience, not with what we're trying to get out of it, because then you're shitty dom when you're doing that. It's all about your sub or what your client is
Kind
looking
of.
for.
I only take sessions if I enjoy them.
Oh, no.
But then
you
it's
should,
more fun for both
But that's
of us.
where the enjoyment is. I
Yeah.
take enjoyment
That's so
off of
smart.
knowing they are having a great journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Not because I want to do something specific with this person because I find them cute. That's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
that's my...
I don't
that's-
find them cute.
You know what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, if I
think
were to
they're
find them
gross.
cute, I'm not going to just do something like that.
Yeah.
But
Is that how you act as a dom? Is you're like, you're disgusting.
Oh, yeah, I do
You
humiliation.
Pig filth.
she's
I'm
big
gonna
on that.
stick my heel in your.
yeah.
Sort of, yeah. But
Yeah?
it's like I'm really into the humiliation. It's like, but it's only fun when they're into it
Right.
as well.
Do you
But
do poop stuff?
I don't do poop
Ooh.
stuff, but I do Goldens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do ball busting.
What is that?
Oof.
What it sounds like.
You step on
It's-
them?
It's horrible.
Kick 'em, step.
Oh my!
It's really fun. If you have some aggression to get out, I really recommend it.
There's definitely guys
Or
out there.
hatred
God.
towards men. There's a lot of misandry going around.
No, I love that. See, I just want to change them for the better, so that we can all be good and all just.
Maybe they need to
come
be
all
kicked
over the
to
pla- Maybe they
change.
need to be kicked.
Sometimes a
Maybe
little
they
slap,
do.
you know.
Yeah.
I think they all just need fingers up
Yeah.
their butts, to be honest.
Yes, this is what I was talking with Lola the other day. Like, the empathy that you have for, again, everyone thinks that anal sex is this mission to just ram something in there.
Right.
Like, I'm going to fuck your ass, right? And it's my mission to fuck this ass, so you know you're fucking your ass. Like, no, it's your mission to make me feel pretty first,
Sure.
to make me feel that I'm in a vulnerable state and I am loved in this state, or liked at the bare minimum, right?
Right.
That you're going to treat me like a human being, and that you're going to notice all the things that are happening for me as it's going on. Once I
Yeah.
relax into it, then we can see where it goes. It's not about you. I am vulnerable. I'm letting you in. It's like that's all it needs is respect.
Yeah.
And then once it happens, then you can have a wonderful time. I don't know why people are trying to like force this issue on someone.
It's crazy.
Right. I don't know why anybody would it's a see,
It's a power trip.
it's a power trip, and a lot of things that we're taught as women and men growing up is that like there are certain positions that are a power trip. You know, doggy style is a power trip or
Yeah.
whatever. Where like I love doggy style, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
I've always been taught that you're being humiliated, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be humiliated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
But really, most of it is it's just that feeling safe. Like if you are making somebody feel safe,
Safe.
they'll be way more willing to do
Anything.
everything else.
Everything.
But people are learning from porn, and that's what's happening. And no
Exactly.
one's made to feel fucking safe in porn. Like,
Like,
Because the
I-
lack of sex education in this country, and not just country, like pretty much worldwide, is appalling. There's no pleasure education.
Totally.
I'm like, why is that so devoid? We teach kids everything from driving to schooling to everything, a lot of life things that you should learn.
Right.
Why aren't we teaching people how to have a successful relationship? Sex is part of that relationship. You're not giving anyone tools. It's
Right.
basically you say, here, go swim, throw them in the water.
No,
Here,
it's not
go
even
fishing.
go swim.
Here's
It's,
it's like,
don't go in the water.
Uh,
Even though the water's right there and people are going to
And
go
people are
in.
gonna go in,
You got to
yes.
teach them how
Yeah.
to fucking swim.
swim.
You
Please.
know?
I mean,
But
absurd.
so I just want to talk about you guys have degrees in this stuff, right? Like
so the degrees is sort of where can you get the degrees? That's the other problem I have in this country.
Right.
okay.
So tantric healing, like in England, you can actually go to school for that, and there's other places where they have places you get the certificate and everything. In the United States, it's still taboo. It's still
Right.
not part of any licensure. For massage therapy, if you're a licensed massage therapist, you have to be careful with any type of working you do because then you're crossing ethical boundaries, which I also find to be ridiculous if they're consenting adults, right?
Right.
So the only kind of sex sort of degrees you can get is if you're a mental sex educator or of that nature, because you're not touching someone else. The second you start touching someone else, you're crossing all kinds of crap, which we need to get over. So what degrees do I come around? Like my personal training, everything that I know of the body, those were my degrees come into to play.
Sure.
Everything else I had to learn from somewhere else, whether it was a book or through some kind of class or structure that we're kind of doing, but someone else put me through. Like Body Electric's a big group that a lot of gay guys hear about. So that's how you learn. There's no real certificate or
Right.
licensure in this type
Yet.
of work yet.
Yet.
So I don't know too, because it's like a lot of sex educators now are journalists, and they've done a lot of like reading and studying that anyone could really do on matters of sex, sexual health, and whatnot. But if I went and got like a degree in like sexology or a PhD, like then it's like I can't do sex coaching. There's certain things that I'm not able to do. I can do everything I want without the degree anyway. So my experience comes. I mean, I'm an experience expert. My mentor is Kenneth Play, and he is a sex educator, and I worked with him and I still do, for like a long period of time. And Dr. Jana, who is an NYU professor and sex researcher. And I'm just like a sex nerd, sex geek. But the thing is that I'm always learning from different lovers who have had different lovers. Like, I just fucked an escort in France and like learned a couple things from him. But it's that like, that was my beef with like other sex educators, like the librarians, is that like, I don't want someone who like researched a bunch of things. I want someone's like, hey, I did it. Here's what it was like. Or here's what I found works, kind of a thing.
Yeah. And you were also saying that you use yourselves as models. So like
That's
if you're
very important
giving
to me,
a blowjob class, or if you're giving a cunnilingus class, it is the two of you who are using each other as
Correct.
And we're going on this mission to get every male, whether they're straight and everything, gay and in between, to be in tune with their butt. And so I'm always
Thank you.
the model. And
Introduce
Lola
men to
Aaron's
will
on the butt
show,
train.
will show prostate play, and without fail, you will see all these guys who are sort of, you can see
I'll
they
just
get,
like nonchalantly put a finger up his butt and
Yeah.
he'll like be into it.
and
all
some
the
of the
other
guys are a little
are like,
tense.
I'll have what he's having.
And then all of a sudden, it becomes this Harry Met Sally scene where, yes, please. And then
during the blowjob thing.
no, that's more during our erotic
No,
couples
during erotic
massage.
massage. We don't do the butt stuff during blowjob. We just keep that. We like said like we'll open back door maybe for like rimming, but we're gonna have like a pegging class.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
In
April.
Well, pegging is very.
It's very hot right
vogue.
now.
It's
David
crazy
watched
to
me in
me.
one of my really nice pegging scenes.
It was really, really good. I mean, her dildo was just, it looked like those It's a Gadoozy popsicles from when Tarzan came out. I mean, it was the whole thing.
Oh
was
my
beautiful.
God.
It
that was
pretty
like one of the
gorgeous,
ones like
very
I
erotic.
liked it, but like that's the one that actually came with the harness. Like it's not even my main cock.
It was great.
That's my side cock.
No, that was a
Sidecock.
hot
And you were
scene.
in the room.
Yeah,
Or-
I had just we were at a kind of like a happening. I had
It was
just
a sex
gotten over a
Sex party.
breakup, so I was just kind of comatose. And I was like, well, this is happening right next door, so I have something to enjoy. So thank you for that, Lola
Next
Jean.
door and the back door.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was a hot scene with the cute little twink boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, with the longest dick ever. And it was so beautiful to watch.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Because Lola was treating him with this beautiful respect. It was like
They were
loving.
laughing. There
it
was
just
sweetness. That's
amazing.
the other thing.
And that's how it should be. Like right now, one of my boyfriends, it's the first time I've actually successfully bottomed. It took 3 tries. First try was about 10 minutes. All I was feeling was ring of fire. It's going crazy.
Yeah.
Then second time we're on weed. Big no, because I felt everything. Great for the
Right.
cock, but I felt everything, and that lasted 30 seconds. Then the last time, and let me just preface this, Dean is gender fluid, and so his cock is actually a strap-on,
Okay.
and it's not small. So for me to overcome this, I was suggested by some power bottoms to, you get on top, you control the action,
Yeah.
you take your time.
For sure.
So I was like, okay, I got this. I got the boy butter next to me, nice and calm. Dean's just chilling out, and all of a sudden, it starts to get in there, and I start to rock, and then I start to get comfortable, and it's feeling great. No more pain anymore. Then I start getting into it. I mean, like really into it. And I start
Yes.
jerking off, getting jerked off, and I know this feeling because I've had toys in me before with prostate play, and then jerking off. It's an amazing feeling. And here's the thing that kicked in. All of a sudden, my power topping mentality kicked in, and it worked through my bottoming, where I just started fucking the shit out of this toy,
Oh my God.
this
Oh,
dick,
nice.
That is
and
so
then I like
hot.
squirted all over the goddamn place. And here's the thing afterwards. I've never been successfully fucked that way before. I held my partner and kind of cried for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was sweet tears.
Yeah.
And it was caressing. It was lovely. It was like, holy shit. In all my experiences still,
Yeah.
I find new moments to just like,
Amazing.
wow, this is like a beautiful moment again for me on my journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's like only like so many firsts that people say that we have in life, but like
Yeah.
no, you can have so many firsts and so many like experiences like that
Always.
where it's nice. And so you were saying that's one of your partners, or you're
So
dating multiple people now?
okay, so I'm polysexual. So
Okay.
I'm married, have 2 kids
Okay.
with a woman. People always ask, so I have to get to that. And then we have partners. And
Okay.
then metamors where we're close with. This is like the partners of our partners.
And you call it polysexual, not polyamorous, or
Well, polyamorous, for me, how I look at it, everyone has their own kind of take on it. Polysexual is when you're totally fine with dating into sexual relationships, and polyamorous feels more when you're starting to get this sort of ownership kind of thing, where it's
relationships.
another primary, or maybe someone who's really close secondary, but almost like they're all on equal standing. And we may have an agreement that we're primaries, and everyone else is everyone else. Now we can
Okay.
get really close to someone else, and it could be loving.
Sure.
Because we're human beings. because you can't. What do I turn that switch off? But it's like the communication between us is, and to be honest, my relationship is way better now than it ever has been, because I've always secretly just been this free person, but I have to match who I'm with. Otherwise, you're disrespecting that person.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, by the way, we don't need to even go down this path, but this is something I think in terms of what we see in movies, TV, etc., and even theater. I saw that shitty play Afterglow. It's probably going to take another 20 years for them to even begin to depict polysexuality and polyamory correctly, because right now it is still so, it is always about a happy couple decides to open up to a third person,
Sure.
and then everything goes wrong, and it's like,
God.
oh
Yeah,
God.
It's always just like, oh, this girl who's heartbroken from her boyfriend decides to go explore her sexuality.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't she just do that in general?
Well, there's
Yeah.
still this puritanical obsession with like
Yeah.
home wrecking and with Jennifer
Yeah.
Aniston,
Well, that's
and
what
I
I-
think we have to. Once
Jennifer
that's over,
Aniston-
we
well,
can
she's
fully
fucking
embrace this.
divorced now, too.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux decided to drop their divorce. This sounds insensitive, but they were brilliant right after the shooting.
Yeah.
That shit was not news.
It's
Okay,
genius.
she knows how to keep her relationships out of the
Well,
media.
yeah, because they're still tormenting her from the. Anyways,
Of course. No, but you're right, because people see any deviation from the norm as a threat to what they have going on. So if you are in a nuclear family that is heterosexual or whatever, and even you think about like, oh, if someone's going to be gay, they're going to make my husband gay, or if someone's polyamorous, it's going to make my husband polyamorous. And the thing is everyone has their own shit. Just like we have different erogenous zones, and like what turns you on is different from what turns me on, a different type of relationship is going to work well for me versus for you.
but
Yeah.
even more than that, I think there's like. I think we have this concept that a relationship goes through like whatever you see in a romantic comedy. That's the beginning, middle, and end. And the end is you getting with your love of your life and living happily ever after.
Yeah.
What you guys are so nicely explaining is that really relationships have to expand, and you are supposed to be having new beginnings and new discoveries.
Yep.
Like it's so exciting that you can have this with a partner, a moment of discovery, and a
12 years
moment of
together,
vulnerability
and we
like
just
that.
started doing this a few years ago.
It's amazing.
And we evolved. She comes from a conservative household. I come from hippies,
Yeah.
you know, Brazilian, Puerto Rican. We're all about sex. So we're different walk of life,
Yeah.
but we grew together. You think that you're stuck in this one person for the rest of your life, which is bullshit, because
Right.
you're always evolving. And if you don't evolve, you're actually not growing as a human being, and that's your own loss.
And you would have missed out on this experience
So
you just
much.
described to us. That's amazing. You would like think about how many of us are missing out on that.
Yeah, but also if you had to have separated from your wife in order to have this experience, you're missing out on her and having the relationship that you guys have.
I would
that's
not trade it
probably
for anyone
better
else.
now.
Right.
I want to grow old and be an old fart with her, that
Yep.
old pervert in the swingers old home, wherever we wind up. You know,
Yeah.
that's the guy I want to be.
Spreading all the
teaching
STDs. That's where they
Yeah.
run rampant, you
Yeah,
know?
they do.
Oh my god! And teaching everyone how to like,
As
you
long as they
know,
don't get pregnant.
have all kinds
Mm-hmm.
of fun in there. But yeah, it's a beautiful relationship, and my own sexuality. It started off as my first two experiences as a pre-10-year-old, and I sucked two of my friends, not knowing what was going on. I was just like playing doctor, like the usual,
Yeah.
right? It's the usual Tuesday afternoon playing doctor, sucking one of my friends' dicks,
Yeah,
right?
Curiosity swallowed the cock. That's the phrase,
Then
right?
there's,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
there's no, in my time, there's no internet or anything like that. So what started happening, heteronormative life hit in because, you know, and I was attracted to women too.
Sure.
So it wasn't anything different for me. So I lived a very heteronormative life well until like my mid-20s. And then all of a sudden, I allowed myself to say, I fucking think this guy's hot.
Yeah.
Why can't I kiss him? I was living for everyone else basically around me, right?
That's right.
And then I just said, you know what? I started living that life. Then I was bisexual. And then I started feeling like the trans thing started coming around. I'm like, well, maybe I'm not really bisexual. I enjoy them too. Then I was like, I'm pansexual. And I'm like, you know, I fucking hate boxes
It's
to the nth
crazy.
degree.
Labels.
So I'm just sexually fluid. If I find you or you attractive and we get along and you're a nice person, you're not
Yeah.
a dick, then we might have some fun together.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. No, I mean, as like hippy dippy as it sounds and free to be you and me, like you have to be yourself, and like no label is going to
The
encapsulate
truth shall set you
who
free.
Lola is
better.
or who Aaron is, you know, like you are, or who David is. Who is David? We don't know. You know, like he's not just some like gay Jewish best friend, you know, like you've got a lot of facets to you that like
Yeah. This
Ever.
is so ridiculous, but like, so right now I have facial hair, which I've never had in my life because, and this sounds so stupid when I say it out loud, but in my head I was always like,
Masking up.
yeah, am I going to be pretending to be masked, but I'm not masked? I'm going to look ridiculous. I'm going to look like a phony. Am I going to be pretending that I'm straight because I'm not straight? I don't want to be like my brothers. I'm not straight like them. So I can't grow a beard. I'm not going to look like a twink. Guys aren't going to like me. I can't be a bottom if I have a beard. And it's like,
neurosis.
it's gibberish.
It's just a beard.
And you look hot.
Maybe you should be.
No.
Dude, you look so hot with it on too.
Yeah,
Thank
and you look
you.
Yeah.
amazing.
And I was telling them I danced at an otter party last night. I mean, this is more label bullshit because it's like, what does that even mean? Okay, I grew a beard. Now I can
now
dance
you're
at a
a
certain
different
kind of party.
guy.
But
yeah.
it means
You want
nothing.
scruff now.
Yeah, no, I can get on scruff. I know, I'll get tattoos,
Yeah,
more
let me check
tattoos.
the
Yeah, apparently I'm an
Okay,
otter.
you can go with scruff.
Anyways, the whole thing is so random because I'm the same person. It means
Exactly.
nothing, which is, it's more of a joke. I mean, this is why RuPaul is brilliant because of her whole thing about shapeshifting.
Yeah, shape-shifting is very important. I mean,
We're always obsessed with our differences that we don't actually get to find out what do we actually like together.
Yeah, you don't get to figure out like when I went on my sexual journey, it was just like, what do I like? What am I good at? Like, what do I enjoy, kind of a thing. And like, so for me, a lot of it was just like this shame of being a woman who enjoys sex and wants to have that in whatever ways I want. And like a lot of people I encounter, it has to do with a lot of like kink shaming and things like that. And you know, a lot of the work is just to be like, no, like there's so many people like you and like that's your thing. You're brave enough to admit that and do the thing that you like or that you even found it. And it's just people don't have that room to enjoy it. That's why like a lot of the people seek sex workers or BDSM professionals or whatnot, because like people always ask, they're like, I don't get it, like if they don't ejaculate, what's the release? It's like the release is just doing this thing that they've been hiding for forever. And I always wonder if like I think we're moving that direction as a society, but when there's like not as much stigma and we're more talking about things openly, like are there still going to be kinks, or is it going to be like, let's sleep in separate beds tonight, honey? Like, it's a missionary.
Yeah.
Like, is that going to be the kink?
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, you want to look into my eyes and tell me you love me? Kinky.
Do you want to fuck no one else but me?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I feel like we all live in a hypocritical world because all those same politicians who are yelling at people like us are the same assholes who hire me on the side to jerk them off.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
mean, if everyone was just transparent with their shit, we would be in a much better place. We could all go find the things that we like. Wouldn't it be great if we could actually have a place that says, "Here, come here for tantric healing. Come here for BDSM stuff. Come here if you want to just get jacked off." And that people who are working there were all cool and consenting with all that work. And if you wanted to explore in a safe place, you could.
Yeah. Well, even with like couples and cheating and stuff, like there are couples that like have these agreements, right? Where like it's like just don't ask, don't tell, and hold up these appearances and stuff. People start hearing about it, and then you're not having real honesty between that couple, and then everyone else is worrying. Well, is this couple that great? What are they doing? And is this like like it confuses people? Whereas it's like, yeah, they both fuck other people and they're cool with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, all the time.
Yeah.
We get that all the time in our relationship. I see, okay, men still have a lot of growing up to do because I read everything that comes out of my wife's, like, people who are messaging her.
Right.
However, one of the big questions when she goes on dates, so what's wrong with relationship? Things not working out with your husband?
Yeah.
No, I'm making this choice as a woman because I want to do this. My husband's wonderful, and because we want to have this. Why does there have to be something wrong with us? What's wrong with us that we're doing this?
Well, I mean, that goes back to the whole thing about like, it's not a choice, it's who I am. It's like, by the way, if you want to make a choice to like, if you're a guy and you're just curious, go for it.
Go for it.
Like, I think as a society, we have to move to a point where it's not about like, I was born this way with these desires. Even if you weren't, like, go try it out. It'll only make you more open-minded. That's why it's like, it keeps feeding. I mean, it's the same thing that feeds whenever straight actors play gay and the press will be like, what was it like having to kiss another man? It's
God.
like, what do you think? I mean, what?
Yeah, they don't question that same actor. Like, what was it like to have your guts blown out in the scene?
Yes.
Yeah, which is
It's all.
way more unrealistic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I'm curious. So you guys met at this party, and then
Yes.
had you already both been working with people separately, or?
I've been having I had my career going at the time. And
Yeah, so we met, and like I went under the guise of like teach me, like train me a bit in pro dom, how you session, the breakdown, this or that kind of a thing. And at the same time, I think I had started maybe potentially dabbling and working in a dungeon. I was starting a bit more of my like fetish
You
wressling
say it
first.
so casually. Started working in a dungeon.
yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah.
And then I mean like shortly thereafter that we like became lovers. And it was kind of we were doing like kind of like business and pleasure
Yeah.
for a bit, and then both halted.
Yeah.
And then like a couple, however many months later, it just kind of came about, and we had time to like get over that, and it's kind of like the perfect scenario of like we're both super comfortable with each other's bodies. We're both professionals. We're both really good in our own respect, and we complement each other very well.
1,000%. I learned, so like Lola says, initially learned from me when it came to the doming stuff, and then I learned in turn from the sex educating work that Lola always tells me about. And so we bounce things off of each other, and we check each other sometimes, and we have this really beautiful love for each other now that's like
more than when we were lovers.
Yeah. I mean,
great.
I think more so now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are the people that are generally coming to you guys for workshops and all that stuff?
So it's really depending on it, especially like my femdom and my female masturbation classes are really super popular just because there aren't spaces like this for women. And like that's in our classes that are co-ed or my classes that are single sex, first and foremost, I try to make it a really safe place for women just because men are fucking creeps.
Yeah.
And they come to a lot of the classes, and I just try to be very protective of them to make sure, because if the women don't feel safe, then they're not going to get.
Oh wait, men are coming to watch these classes?
Not that, fuck no.
Okay.
But like in other classes, like if we have sensation play, which we allow, like that's why a lot of classes are couples only, because I don't want the single men to come.
Timeout readers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
no, that's like how the single guys will go to yoga to the people just to like stand behind girls and downward dog, and you're like,
if they do that, you should
especially
fart on them.
for-
Continue. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. For like sex coaching clients too, and like people that are coming to my workshops or that I do kink coaching with, it's like astounding amount of number of women who also have never orgasmed, and not older than you too. But mainly, it's women that want to gain body confidence. But I think it's like a lot of this like women's empowerment movement about like reclaiming their own pleasure and their own body.
Yeah.
Women don't really talk about it in the way that men sometimes talk about it, or
certainly
vulvas
not
are
as
just
much
like,
as I talk about it on this podcast.
vulvas are really complicated too.
Hell yeah.
So a lot of times they come for the masturbation class, or they come to learn how to squirt because everyone thinks it's so
It
cool.
can be learned.
But they really stay for the body positivity.
Yeah, no, body positivity is huge.
Huge.
I actually, but in this book, just now that we're talking about balls and squirting and all that stuff, like
Two of my favorite things.
girls, first of all, need to get comfortable with squirting, because if you think about it, every guy squirts.
Oh yeah,
Right?
It's the equalizer. You can come in people's faces too.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
exactly.
And I've been like referencing this study a lot, but Masters and Johnson did one. I think it was called like Curing Homosexuality, but like if we ignore that offensive title,
Sure.
the research in it was actually amazing, and it's like super applicable even today. But they found that with that same-sex couples tended to extend the period of arousal and stimulation before orgasm, where heterosexual couples seem to be more goal-oriented and getting the job done.
Yes.
And especially with like squirting, whenever I get people that are interested like in it and like come to me to like this and that, it's just like, okay, but this has to be like for you, for the person squirting.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
You didn't make her squirt. Like, why do we keep
She's not
talking
like a
about
circus animal.
it? Exactly. And they're doing it to just be like, I'm so good at the sex that I made her squirt. And that's what they're getting this feeling from.
Yeah.
Another
Instead
notch
of
in the
giving
belt.
someone pleasure. And like, so it's also the body empathy, and that you understand the parts.
David, do you find that there is that body empathy with you now, like with gay guys that you're like, I'm trying to bottom or I'm trying to top more? Are they sensitive with you, or do you
What do you mean? Sensitive to what?
like to the fact that this is your first time and like
No, I've still been really not. I've not been really like pushing it. I'm still find myself like falling into bottoming roles. Which, by the way, I have been like learning more about power bottoming, which I've been really digging. But yeah, I've still been kind of afraid to like fully
You're
step
like,
into
you're not
it.
asking for it?
No, I'm not asking to top. I'm still just like, it's still assumed that they're gonna top me, which is annoying.
That is annoying.
to ask.
Why
But
are
you
they?
have to ask.
I have to
Yeah.
ask.
They shouldn't be assuming that, number one. But number two, if you want to put it in, you have to say, "May I?"
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has to start with you. Like it has to be your
I
will.
wouldn't
your
get my
want.
pussy didn't have as much as I do if I didn't tell them to.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I think we need to clear up what a power bottom is, because there have been so many different definitions thrown at me from various friends.
Okay.
Okay, one who said a power bottom is someone who can take massive amounts of stuff
No.
up their butt real fast. Number two, what I heard, somebody who is submissive in the bedroom but really dominant in real life. What? Number three, somebody
That's not
who
computing.
is dominant from the bottom.
It's
So
more closer.
it's
That's closer
Closer.
to it.
closer to like what you were saying of
Yes.
sitting on a dick and riding
it.
that shit.
And right
Until
that shit.
you like
Until
for
I
you
get pleasure
yeah.
from it. It's me deriving my pleasure from the bottoming experience.
Yeah.
Because when you think of the it's a flip, because usually it's someone who's being bottomed, the top is getting a lot of the, I mean, bottom's getting pleasure too, but it's like, it's all about the top doing everything. It's the top's mission.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this sex happen great.
Yeah.
Bottom, you just got to just hang on.
You're the
I got
whole.
you. You're the whole. I got you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a power bottom, now you're in control. It's almost thinking of in the doming, like kink world, think of like flipping the dom sub kind of aspect of it, where now you have a lot of power over what's happening in the session. You're in control. It's your pleasure. Again, you're pleasing that person too. And seeing that pleasure makes you even more hard and turned on by the fact that, wow, this is me. I'm doing this. I feel great. I feel strong.
I have a hot ass.
I have a
I'm
hot ass.
piece. They get this.
You feel
like,
sexy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like very empowering.
Yeah, I can actually even relate to
Yeah.
that as a woman, like the way that I've had sex sometimes. I'm sure you can too.
Yeah.
But like not even with a strap on or anything, but there are certain positions that you have more leverage, and then suddenly you're fucking the guy,
Yes.
even though he's
Yes.
the one with the dick. Like,
Yes.
it's a very empowering experience.
That's when they're then put on the test, because it's like, you better be able to handle me. Like, I'm going to ride.
And then I flip it where, because I'm a perennial top for a lot of my occasions and dom as well, mentally. Yeah. But I will flip it on them, and people really respond very well to this, where I say, use me as your fuck toy. Call me your fuck toy. I am here for your pleasure. It's not about
That's
me.
humiliation, FYI. That's
I know.
No, I'm just
but-
explaining. People think humiliation is this awful thing.
No,
but
it's not awful.
that's
This
the nice
is for
version.
me. This is a great version of it, because for me, I'm getting gratification knowing that you are deriving pleasure, but I'm giving you a moment to really empower yourself. This is for you.
Be a sexual
Be
objectification.
yes, and I love being objectified when it's
Yeah,
consensually.
penis
consensually.
owners secretly or not so secretly love being objectified.
Yeah,
That's
consensually.
how you can make all
objectified.
men sub, really.
Is objectify them?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a nice way.
Strategically.
Go
Yeah.
on.
Well, no, usually I mean, and this is all like my femdom class, but I have a lot of questioning techniques because like in general, like, you know, like the girlfriend who like you get the boyfriend to do something by making them think it's their idea.
Yes, like
That's
in
a
Sex in
dom-
the City when you put your hand on the wrist. Maybe you would like the salad.
Yeah, but yeah, no, they're all doming techniques, or even like
Yep.
moms, like they don't know that they're doming, but it's the same kind of thing where I'll ask them questions to make it think like it was more in their volition. It works really well when I give the script, like, do you want to be my play toy,
Yes.
my my plaything that I use for my pleasure, and your only purpose on this earth is to make me come?
Yes, so hot.
Would you want that?
Yes, hell yes. And
Usually the answer is yes.
Yeah.
yes, it should be.
I want to answer yes right now, frankly.
I guess my issue is like, I think I have these associations about topping and bottoming, about like the top he's older than me, he has more money than me, he's more confident than me, he has a better body than me, and I can't seem to like cross over.
Do you feel confident in your topping abilities? Not even talking about asking for it, but
Maybe not. Maybe I'm afraid.
usually, and like that's with anything, in things that we either don't like to do or don't want to do, it's usually because we feel like we're going to be inadequate at it.
I think I'm scared.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to some of my girlfriends about, you know, guys not being so inclined to go down on girls. And we were all saying it's usually because they don't know what they're doing and they're just concerned about their ability.
With topping, I think like, because with bottoming, my like hardness and I can kind of be invisible when I'm bottoming. If I'm topping, like I really have to be into it. I have to be hard.
Right.
And I think I'm afraid that I'm not going to live up to that.
It's like you're the performer now. It's
Exactly.
and you have to be performing.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to go back to one of your points, maybe with feeling those roles you were feeling. It
Yeah.
almost sounds very akin, and again, we would get it a lot of times, and I hate it. It almost falls like it's falling into this gender role type of thing where we would view women as, because they're the ones being penetrated, they're the lesser. The man
For
is going
sure.
to keep them at home, pregnant,
Being
barefoot.
penetrated is a vulnerable thing.
And the guy, like you're saying, the guy is going to make the money. He's going to be the breadwinner. All these things, and the woman should just be the submissive little thing going along for the ride.
Right.
It's all about him. It's like, I feel like in these gay relationships where one's pure bottom, the other one's pure top, it's almost like akin to that. And it's disrespecting on two realms, because I feel like it's disrespecting, first of all, the male bottom, and it's disrespecting women, because I know it's making that
Yes.
comparison to saying you're being fucked, so you're the lesser.
Yes.
That's exactly it.
100%. And there's something, I'm going to keep going back to this book because I fucking love it. But they were like saying the same exact thing, that it's like you're choosing feminine or masculine. And by saying that owning your sexuality isn't feminine, you're saying femininity is weak and that we don't have a sexuality where just because you're feminine doesn't mean you're, and there's femininity to men and to women. There's masculine. It doesn't mean one or the other. It's like you are a makeup of
Both.
Right.
Yes.
That's also another problem with lack of communication. And like, why not just talk about what you like, what you don't like? Have a great sex scene with each other, and then afterwards say, "Hey, what was working for you? What wasn't working? What's wrong with that conversation?" I don't know. It feels so
Yeah.
weird that we can't have that conversation.
No, in that book as well, she's talking about how it's assumed that the man is the sexual person and that he's the one that leads the way, or the dominant is the one that leads the way, or whatever. Where, why would that person know anything more about your body than you know? You know, like
Hello.
where I used to sit back and be like, oh, this is how girls get head. This is how people must like it. But it's like, no, if you don't like it in the moment, then that person's wasting time. You're wasting time, you
But
know?
also, like, how do you expect someone to be able to pleasure you if you can't pleasure yourself?
Ooh.
Totally. But you can at least
Here
go,
we are.
this feels weird. I don't like this. Maybe let's change it up.
Absolutely. I actually, like, one time when I think I was like out of college, and this guy was going down on me, and I think it was like something where like it didn't feel right. It was kind of good, but it kind of hurt. Anyway, long story short, pinched a nerve in my labia. But just I looked like it was like elephantitis of the labia. And
I am not an animal. I'm not an animal. I am a human being.
Yeah, it's like I was talking about someone today. Like I was having all hands on deck class today, where everyone's multi-hand massaging, wearing my little captain's hat, my cute little outfit. We're all doing a theme. It's another what's today, Monday, or another Monday morning.
Sure.
Like that, yeah. And
Aaron's classes are more sexual than mine.
yeah, slightly. That's for the Daddy Retreat stuff. I can get into that when you want to approach that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Daddy Retreat. You could chime in on this. I feel like in a lot of different venues in the gay scene, there's still so much about your presentation, how you look. You have to fit in this beautiful mold of 18 to maybe 40. That's me pushing it.
White.
You have to look a certain way, be sort of fit. The stereotypical male who just works out all the time, does his eyebrows, dresses impeccably, is an interior designer as well as set designer and all these other things, right?
Best friends to many housewives.
Yes. And what I've hated about that was talking to a lot of my clientele who, most of them are older, and they feel like the party has left, that they're no longer allowed at the party. My business partner is of that age gap, and he felt the same way too, where I'm no longer allowed to come to this place because I will be made to feel like the leper in the corner.
So Daddy's Retreat.
Daddy Retreat was initially geared towards 40-plus-year-olds. However, how I want it is complete inclusivity of everyone.
So is a place for gay men or all men?
No. As long as you're male or male identified, meaning trans, no matter if you're a person of color, no matter if you are old as can be or young as can be, legally, of course, right? No matter where you fall on this spectrum, whether or not you have the perfect body, if you're overweight, if you're not beautiful in the face, I want a place where you can feel that you can explore your sexuality, that you can feel sexy every time you walk in, that you're welcomed, you're not the leper, that you are a normal human being who can give pleasure to other people because that's what you really want. I see all these guys come in and all they want to do is make someone else feel nice, but they've always felt like they were not allowed to because they don't fit this mold.
Permission. It's all about permission.
It's
you bisexual and
this is why.
homosexual
It's the
focus.
whole spectrum of how you identify. You can be gay, you can be straight, you can be bisexual, as long as you're willing to touch and be touched by other men, or just be in the same room with other men, people who identify as male. You are welcome to this.
And explore.
Pagan's Paradise was the other group that we have, was open gender orientation and lifestyle. So that one was to include women more into the fold of this same atmosphere under the umbrella of the wellness studio. But initially we started with Daddy Retreat because I felt like it was needed. And I understand something. I'm going to get old too. Why am I not going to start now, create a culture where people feel, I can't tell you how often people come to me and tell you, what you're doing is amazing. I can't believe this actually exists. I feel so welcomed. There's some guys who will email me prior to coming to class. I'm 40-something years old. I'm overweight. I'm not that good looking. Is it okay if I come to your class? Do you know how heartbreaking that is for someone to ask for permission to come somewhere because they don't fit this particular mold?
Yeah.
And I've had people of color totally ask me, is it okay if I come? I'm like, yeah. Why not? Inclusivity, 100%.
It's so pervasive because, like, this summer I went to the underwear party in Fire Island for the first time.
Oh, my God.
And I like, whatever. I fit the mold. Like, I'm white. I'm pretty skinny, whatever. Like, it's not an issue. Like, I'm 27. Like, I'm not in.
Yeah.
Okay. I was panicking. I was just like, I'm too fat. I'm too fat. I'm too fat. Whatever I was thinking, like I was going to get exiled Right. And then, of course, I got there. The whole thing was so idiotic. I was like, okay, we're all in our underwear. It was like completely fine. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's once you start with that abjection with people who are older or of a different race or of different weight, it will always creep back to everyone, and then everyone is terrified.
Yes.
So it's fully beneficial for like the ins and the outs.
No, it's nice that you have these groups. And are they groups that come back regularly? Like, are these
I have
like
a ton of regulars.
multi-sessions?
I have veterans. Well, most of our classes are sort of they'll have a name like massage orgy.
Okay.
And then I'll have that class happen again, and then there'll be another class which is another theme, another angle. We're starting to introduce classes that are like a 2 or 3 series,
Dope.
but most of our classes are just one-offs, and they repeat the ones that are
Okay.
popular, right?
Dope.
So a lot of the regulars, they come very often because they love that that it's a safe space. The new people come in, they welcome them in, so it's really nice to have the veterans in there, and it's really warm, and I totally love everyone in there. It's a space that I've always envisioned in my brain, but to see it in reality is actually kind of really nice.
Was it something that you ever grew up thinking that this is what you would do, or
Hell no.
no?
You know, grew up the same typical, half Jewish thing.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna be a lawyer, right? I
Right.
went to Queens
Or
College.
a doctor, or an accountant.
No, I
Wow.
literally went to Queens College I got my degree in political science, theater minor. I have to keep my theater,
course.
it was in there. And then I got to Queens Law. Was speaking with my uncle, and he was a defense attorney. He loved it. He told me everyone else who got into it for all the other reasons were just alcoholics or on drugs, whatever, because they really didn't like it. They did it because family, prestige, all that jazz. So I was like, so I didn't go. My parents wanted to stab the shit out of me at that point. And then I just did some soul searching. I loved personal training. I loved bodies. I got into massage therapy. And then I was like, I really have all these things that I'm pretty good at when it comes to sexual things. Why don't I just try incorporating a little bit of that into the work and see where it goes?
Yeah.
And time and time again, I thank myself for making that decision because people keep saying, thank you for the service. I mean, you don't know what this means to me.
Wow.
I go home. I have a better relationship with my
That's
lover.
where the validation
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
from,
I feel great. I actually feel like a human again.
Yeah. No, I actually wanted to give a few shout outs to people that have come to me saying they didn't want to listen to this podcast because they thought they would be excluded. Girls whose, vaginas are painful during sex and they don't generally enjoy sex.
Yeah.
They were like, I don't want to listen to this. I thought I'd be excluded. I'm like, listen to episode 4. You are not. Like, somebody came to me the other day and she's like, I really want to listen to your podcast, but I've never come either. And I think and I was like, then what's the difference between you and me?
The thing is that women don't realize like how common and widespread this is. Like whenever women admit this to me, it's like they're admitting this deep dark secret. And it's like
terrible.
Yeah, you and everyone else. It's
Right.
also like newsflash, guys, they're faking their orgasms.
Yeah. Did you ever fake?
When I was younger, I probably did. Now it's like there's no point.
Yeah.
There's no point in faking it because then I'm just giving them like the wrong kind of feedback.
No, totally.
Yeah.
And I think I said this to you before, but like for some reason when I was younger, I would fake it. No, I would never fake an orgasm. But if somebody was going down on me or somebody was doing something that was uncomfortable, I would pretend it was great so then we could just be finished.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's also like you
yes,
think
yes.
that like, okay, like they have to feel good, like they did a good
Get it
job.
over
That is
with.
my role in it type of
Yes,
thing.
for
Like,
sure.
oh, I don't want them to leave me and I want them to see me again. So I'll act like I really liked this.
For
Yeah,
sure.
totally. And did you ever think this would be the type of work that you were?
No, but it's funny because if I like talk to anyone from like in my like childhood or younger years or whatever, and I tell them I'm doing this, they're just like, I'm surprised, but then not at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, I just feel like all roads were leading to this,
Sure.
but like, I wouldn't have guessed that at all because. I mean, it's tough. I feel like you're disappointing your family, and
Yeah.
I'm putting my sex life on blast. But
Totally.
like, it's really freeing for me, and I'm helping a lot of other people doing
Well,
it.
you guys are getting wild press now, right? Like you
Yeah.
lead events. We were saying at NSFW.
yeah,
Yes.
it's just in the New York Times.
Yeah.
Heyo.
You just did.
Oh, I was just featured in a documentary on Fusion
Yes.
TV that came out on Saturday, but I
Yes,
haven't watched
babe.
it yet.
She's writing a book, you
Uh-huh.
guys.
Yeah.
It's the second coming, right?
The Second Coming.
Yeah.
Look at
Amazing.
you.
Which is amazing, but it also begs the question: how tough was all of this from a legal standpoint? Like, can you say
yeah.
I'm giving an erotic massage on a website? Can you,
Okay, so
Mine's easier than yours, probably.
yours is probably
'Cause
easier.
I have a lot of boundaries. Yeah, because not everyone thinks sex work is all like escorting or touching penises or this or that, but like there's such a wide variety. Like, so I don't touch penises.
Yeah.
I don't like no ifs, ands, ors, or buts. The only contact I'll make is foot,
Only
foot
his
to
butt.
balls.
Well,
Well, that's like a consensual thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
in
I
the
know.
class, touch him. But
Yeah.
for me, it's like it's more cut and dry because like I don't touch penises. When I do a wrestling fetish, like it's basically like a sport. Like I'm just wrestling them. It's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and they're giving me a donation of agreed upon amount.
Did we talk about wrestling fetishes?
We said
We-
briefly
briefly.
that I teach a wrestling class.
Yes.
And I also do wrestling fetish.
Yes.
But we didn't get into it.
But it is a fetish that people have, that they
It's
like to
so
be wrestled.
popular.
And
So popular.
Yeah.
so cool looking too. It's like amazing to watch.
And it's like it's so archaic that it's just really easy. Like I just have my profile up on one of the wrestling sites and I literally do nothing and people email me. Or I post when I'm traveling. I was in Paris. I did 3 sessions.
And are people jizzing when you're wrestling them?
No, some asked, like, because my rule is like, okay, if you want to like release yourself, you can do that. I want absolutely no part in it. I don't want to touch it. I'm not cleaning it up. Nothing. You can go to the side and do that. Like,
Okay.
I have one client where I'll like hold him up by his neck on the wall and like tell him that he's not a man and he's like a weak piece of shit, and then he'll like jizz in his pants. But like that's as close as it gets.
Okay.
Kind of a thing. Not all of them. Like if there are boners, I ignore them. But like it isn't that way all.
No,
the
it's a
time.
different type of release, and it's a different type of fetish.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
And like
it's not necessarily
some
sexual.
may ask, or like, do you do happy endings? I'm like, no. And then
What
they're
do
like,
you
fine.
think about happy endings?
The phrase itself is so like childish at the end of the day. Because again, it goes back to why are we so focused on the orgasm being the only part of that experience that was good? Wasn't this whole entire hour and a half, 90 minutes, 2 hours of me doing all this effort just as beautiful as those 30 seconds of heightened emotion?
Totally.
I mean,
Well, that's like so many people ask me. They're like,
you can have
"Wait,
great sex
you
without
don't
an
come
orgasm.
and you like sex?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Have you had sex? Like it's fun. no?
Feels good. It's like all these things, your heart races, your endorphins are kicking, you're bonding, number one.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful experience between you and your partner. I don't understand
It's
where
like we're chasing orgasms constantly, not just in that, but like generally speaking.
we always say, develop the story, write the story,
Yeah.
whatever the class is, whether it's a kink class or it's a touch class, whether it's an oral sex class, develop the story. Have like all the parts of the story that mean something. It's not just the ending right before the credits. I don't know why we're seeking, oh, the movie started, great, credits. It's
Right.
like, who the fuck does that?
Yeah.
You want to enjoy the
or they
whole...
just get straight to the plot.
Yeah, yeah. I
No
mean,
background at all.
then nothing.
They
You just-
Tarantino it.
Oh God! Like they just want the guns and it's just please. Can we enjoy the entire time? It sounds so cheesy, but can we stop to smell the roses? Can we enjoy
Yeah.
the winding road rather than the straight highway?
Yeah, can we do some rimming?
Yeah.
Could we?
Sure.
Can we do
and
some
then when
actual
you do that,
foreplay?
you get to explore and learn
Yes.
things.
Can we have a
Data
little
collection.
hand job action with each other? I
Yes.
stroke you, you stroke me. What happened? Like we feel like once you've gotten to the point of dick inserting to some kind of like main hole, that everything else is now like, oh, that's just juvenile. Why are we gonna do that again? Like,
Right.
Like it
Once
felt
you've
good
done
back
third
then.
base
Yeah,
and sloppy third,
Which
and yeah, check,
for,
check,
for
check.
me, like that's what I was saying. Like I don't think I got to have that experience in high school of just like making out with my boyfriend.
If it makes you feel
just
better, I
became
didn't
fucking.
either.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither.
Yeah.
I've taken my boyfriend post high school back to my high school to make out in high school because I never did.
That's pretty powerful.
It's cute,
That's kinda
right?
hot.
So
I
I
like it.
just
Go kiss in the
na-
library.
yeah. So now I think we're like reclaiming that, and like this guy I was
Yeah.
just in love with, who I was able to have that with. I was like, oh, it's just as good if we're just like making out and hanging out than like immediately like put it in, which is
Yeah.
what I've always felt with other guys. Like there's a race or something.
I went on
Totally.
my first date like 3.5 years ago or something like that.
You went on your first date?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How backwards is that?
Mazel. Yeah, it's crazy.
But we are all late bloomers in different
In
aspects.
different house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
I'm
it's
such a
so
date
easy to
queen.
judge the one that you are a late bloomer in and be like, well, I'm fucking defective and I'm done. You know, like, no, we can all work on everything and like continue to grow. And like, doesn't matter how stunted you were. Like, people go leaps and bounds.
yeah.
I feel that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited for both of you though, like going through this like journey and like having that point where it's like, fuck this shit, I'm doing this. Like you get to learn just like so much about yourself, and you get a lot of firsts and experiencing things and like checking in with yourself more when you're experiencing them instead of just like being there and watching yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Cool.
It's exciting.
Well, I was going to ask you if you guys, because I need to get an assignment from you two by for the end of this, so
There you
that
go.
I may maybe come before episode 6. Are there any questions that you guys would like to ask me before you give me the assignment, just to better educate you?
Yeah, I have a quick one because the things I would suggest is dependent upon your comfort,
Okay.
where your boundaries are and stuff like that. Are you looking for anything where, are you okay with being nude?
What? In what sense? I love to be nude.
That's a simple question. Because these are just, you said preliminary
he
questions
means in
before
front of
the assignment.
Oh yeah, I'll be naked in front of you.
Are you okay with being touched?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I can ask my questions. Go ahead.
Okay.
If you have any other questions.
Dope.
But you guys have to come to one by yourself. I can't do 2 tasks. It's
Not
too
2.
tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will take one. Continue.
Yeah, you could take.
It's hard because like the main one that I would have might not involve you like coming during that, but I think it will give you the building blocks that you need. Before I do give that homework, I will say I don't like toys really at all. I'm like old fashioned, strictly hand kind of a deal, but I love the clit suction toys, and that's
My
the
womanizer.
Yeah, womanizer or satisfier. It's the only one I recommend, and it's actually the only toy that I can squirt with. And I had maybe one of my most epic masturbation squirting experiences with like the satisfier, which is similar to the womanizer.
Damn.
And
Are they
I
the
like
same brand? No.
different brand.
brands,
Satisfier
okay.
is a wider surface area, which I personally like more
Okay.
than pinpointed.
Okay.
And things were getting wet, so I like went to the bathtub and I watched as like I like squirted this like perfect arc the entire length of the tub, just like a
Whoa.
beautiful fountain.
Oh shit.
And I was like, I did not know my body could do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you and I have a funny little connection because on episode 1, my friend Wendy came on. She's like a massive squirter or whatever. So after that episode, a lot of people wrote in, people in my family, people whatever. I'm finding out there's squirting in my family, right? So
So it's genetic.
The
So it's
heritage.
genetic. And then on episode 2, I was like, what do I have to do? Do I have to like sit in the bathtub? And then my friend Lindsay's like, no, you don't have to sit in the bathtub. But I think I'm going to sit in the bathtub. Like,
Oh, you can get puppy pads, or I can give you names of blankets, this or that. I was just doing that because I didn't feel like doing laundry again.
I never do laundry.
Yeah, and I soak through towels.
Do you see those 2 big suitcases over there? Those are
where
laundry
you
that
hide
I'm
it?
bringing downstairs tomorrow. Swear to
Well,
God.
no, I have different hacks for that. I mean, otherwise, there's a special Liberator blanket, but that one you have to throw in like washer, dryer, use it again, but like reusable. Puppy pads for on the go. I just went in the tub just because I was lazy.
How big is a squirt?
It depends on the person. It can be anywhere from, scientifically, they've said like a couple tablespoons to 4 cups. Personally, I think I can demolish that, and I just applied for a Guinness World Record to do so.
You did?
I did.
You guys, we're setting records on my podcast.
That's right.
I am so pumped
And
for
hopefully
this.
we'll get grants. I'm sure there's some kind of.
Right. Well, no, I'm going to charge tickets for people that want to come watch.
Okay, good.
Because I'm going to make money off the perfs.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Time out,
No,
readers. Woo!
I love toys, and I don't love toys, but I just bought the womanizer, and I'm obsessed with it. So I'm glad that you said that
Yeah.
you like that one because, I mean, I just tried it right before this, and it was
amazing.
like I'm not gonna not
Like leg
do that.
shaking orgasms.
Wow.
But
yeah.
my sister has always, and she's not here tonight, but she's usually the producer of the show, and she's always telling me I'm a lazy masturbator.
Do you always use toys when you masturbate? That is my question.
No.
No.
What
What is your hand technique that you go to?
Oh,
Is it the same
man.
one that you've been doing since you were 7?
Like, so I didn't realize the importance of the clit until legit this year. So I've been like just fingering
You've been just
myself
going, like-
for a while, and I try it every so often or whatever, but I just get so like, ugh.
Yeah, you're coming to my masturbation class. That's my homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have them monthly. I call them like yoga class for your vagina, because initially it was to be a masturbation class with a squirting focus, because it's not something that you can just go to a class and learn. It's like a process, and it's something like I didn't come out of the gate squirting.
Are we
Like,
naked in the class? Like, do we do it with you?
Yes. So
Cool.
Yes, but like you can be to your comfort level, so you can wear a skirt. So the way the class is usually broken up is the first half is like talk and teach. We talk about masturbation habits, whatever the focus is. We talk about that. Go over anatomy. Second half is a guided masturbation.
Dope.
So I tell you all how to touch yourselves.
Okay.
And this next one actually is on Thursday.
face.
Has more of a tantra focus. So it's really about like releasing chakras, being in touch with your body, feeling beautiful. And we're gonna have live music, like singing bowls and harps and didgeridoo and shit. And
Beb.
Holy
so
shit.
excited.
Yes, Beb.
Wait, so when is the masturbation class that I am
The
attending?
next one is on February 22nd, which is a Thursday at
And
8 p.m.
today is the 18th, so I can do this before the next
Yeah.
episode.
And
Okay,
it's at 3O
amazing.
Studios.
Okay, and then you know what? I'll take 2 assignments from you guys.
Yeah,
Why
I got it
not?
Yeah.
now. I got it
Mine's super easy. It's like we'll figure it out afterwards, scheduling wise. But
Okay.
listening to everything you were going over, I was thinking in my head, do I want to go BDSM route? Do I want to go Tantric route? Do I want to go? And the more I listen to everything you're talking about, it sounds like everything's external for you. Everything's happening in terms of what am I doing with my body? What different devices or whatever I'm trying to go through. When it comes to Tantra, you're not looking at yourself in the same sexual way. You're trying to, again, some people will not jive with the whole talk of chakras or energy or sexual, spiritual energy.
Right.
But it's really about creating this inner balance with yourself, about becoming really in tune with your breath, in tune with your yoni, which is aka your pussy, right? Using your kegels, using your muscles, using your whole body to create this movement in yourself. It might be something where you might awaken something that's sort of been dormant because you've never tried to tap it before. That's sort of something where I was maybe leaning more towards. But we could always figure out if you like that aspect
Is
or if
that-
you want
I
to try
love
something that's
that.
more on the
What,
kink, on the kink realm. Tantric massage?
Tantric massage. Is
Yes.
that like a yoni massage, right?
No.
No.
The yoni massage is its own thing. It's
Okay.
That's one technique.
Okay.
Yoni massage, all that means is the technique of what you're just working that one area and that's it. The way I work tantric energy is it's from your mind to everything else.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's trying to connect on a deeper level. There's been times where people have cried in a session because a lot of times we repress things very deeply. We don't, and from trauma in our life or from whatever.
For sure.
It sounds like you're having, I don't know if it's trauma for you, but this
There's
whole...
nothing better than a cry release, though.
Yes.
Too.
And this whole search for this orgasm, it's like this journey that's maybe been, I don't know, like a wall almost that you're just banging your head against and you can't figure out how the hell do I get over this fucking wall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I do think it's a combination of the two, too. I was grappling with that, if it's like going to be like the mental release, because a lot of women who can't find orgasm, generally it's because they're holding themselves back, whether they know it or not.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
I am.
Okay.
Yes, Beb.
And this whole thing is very challenging. If we do it legit tantric and you go through the steps how I usually tell people, because sometimes I do tantra light with someone who doesn't really want to get engaged, meaning they don't want to do all the breathing, they don't want to do all the mental stuff. Yeah, they're just more of like a pillow princess.
Biggest fan of tantra.
Yeah, so they just want me to do all the work at that point. So then I do all the work, and it feels good too. Don't get it wrong. But when someone's really on a journey and they want to delve in deep, then that's something that's very, very groundbreaking for them. I worked with someone who's an introvert, huge body issues.
Yeah.
It took a while for us to get layers of her clothing off, meaning this time we'll do just underwear, you can wear it till you feel comfortable. Next time we'll just take off the top till you feel comfortable. And we kept going in these realms until this person kept feeling comfortable. And each time there was a cry and a hold because this person had not allowed themselves to really feel anything sexual. And it was just whatever she can scrounge out with whatever people that she's been with. But it's very deep and meaningful. It's not something that's been around for thousands of years. It's been a practice along with Kundalini, which you might hear in yoga, along with yoga, along with Kama Sutra. It's all in that same realm where it was part of their way of creating a beautiful connection with each other. You know, your tantric spirit works for yourself primarily, and then works with either a healer or your lover. Every time we hear tantric, all we hear is a tantric sex aspect of it, right? We hear Sting having sex for hours with his yoga instructor. That's pretty much what we get from it.
Yeah.
Instead of like, no, it's a personal journey first and foremost. You either on it by yourself, or you're with your healer who's there for you, or with your lover who is trying to go on the same journey with you.
Sure.
Now, the other aspect I was thinking, maybe BDSM blend with that, possibly because maybe a loss of control might get you to flip the switch too. If you've been trying to control this, like I'm going to make this orgasm happen whatever way you can. What if I lose complete control and put in someone else's trust, but has my best interest in mind?
Right. So just as you were saying, like, are you comfortable with being naked? And I was saying in what scenario or whatever, like, I find that, not that I'm not comfortable with my boyfriend now, love being naked with him, but with like in a sexual situation, I'm always very timid and what does my body look like? Whereas in like a massage situation, anytime I've gotten a full body massage, I'm like, I'll be nudie and you can put your hands up there. I won't be mad of anything because there's something about a professional that you trust them.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's why we
gotta do
find a lot
this.
of success in our class, because it's not just that we're giving permission, it's that we're giving permission as professionals. So
Yes.
like even like that's why with like the butt stuff, it's that like these girls are bringing their boyfriends, and if like even it could go either way. Like sometimes with girls, like in squirting classes, the guy will be saying something. I'll say the exact same thing to her, and they're like, to me, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Like it's just, yeah, no, seriously. But it's that like we're the professionals saying something, and they don't want to hear it from their significant other.
Honey, listen
and
to the
trust in
teacher.
that.
We have a few of those. Honey, listen to the teachers. It's
Yeah.
it's like.
Plus, I love to power trip.
Yeah, I know you do.
It's so fun.
Yes,
It's
Beb.
so fun.
All right, so my assignment from you, let's just sum up,
Yes.
is to go to your masturbation class.
Where the goal is not necessarily to orgasm,
Just
but I
to learn.
think you're gonna get a lot from it.
I can't
Yeah.
wait. And we learn on the job with you.
Yeah.
And then I will also take a tantric.
Now, here's the beauty
Massage.
about the tantric massage.
Okay.
Tantric massage, you don't come to me to have an orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen. In Tantra, a lot of times it's about withholding the orgasm to create this reservoir of sexual energy and to become more in tune with your orgasmic flow. And then you might have an orgasm in different ways. There is a skin orgasm. Someone starts touching a certain way, and all of a sudden you get all these goosebumps all over. Has the temperature changed? Did you get scared? Did the breeze come through? No. Your skin is releasing. All orgasm mean, and we use the term a lot, is release. What if I'm eating something that tastes really good? And that's amazing.
Food
What if
porn.
I'm getting
Foodgasm.
what if I'm getting some internal work where someone's playing with my prostate or my G spot?
Wow.
Though I'm not coming, I'm having this internal flow, and
This
this
is
internal
good.
release.
Yeah.
So maybe you won't find that orgasm, but you might find other ways where your body can let go,
Yeah.
or your mind
I
can let
want to do
go.
this. This is amazing.
And I think that could take you to your next step. Just a guess.
Yeah. Well, just because you said that I can't come during tantric, I'm going to do
You don't.
it.
Yes. No, it's saying that you don't.
Whatever.
It's just saying you don't
I'm
have
just
to.
going to defy. Oh, you said I'm not supposed to? I'm going to do it, Daddy.
You totally can, but it's not the entire goal. Like,
Yeah.
And we'll go through a couple of big draws, which is leading up to what we'll use a term in you hear it a lot of times, edging. It's a popular term, but it's actually stolen from Tantra. It's about getting very close to your orgasmic release, but you're going to hang out there, and you're going to hang out and let your body go with the flow of that orgasmic flow.
It's amazing.
And it is amazing. So it's almost like orgasm denial. So if we're working in that realm where I don't want you to release right now, but we're going to do all these things, then you're like, okay, I don't have to release, but I'm going to enjoy what's happening right now. And I'm going to see what happens to my body. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
not focusing on releasing. And if you happen to release at any given moment, it's what we call tantric oopsie. That's totally okay also. Yes, we call it tantric oopsies. It has some with guys sometimes.
Such a technical term.
It's very technical. And then after that, I usually say after
The
we
first time I come is going to be an oopsie.
That's gonna be your coming story.
Yeah.
Then.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that would be amazing.
Where
that
can we
happened.
find you guys?
Yes.
Where can people find out about your classes?
So pretty much everywhere, I'm Goddess Lola Jean, Jean with a J. So that's goddesslolajean.com. My Instagram is Goddess Lola Jean.
Yes, Beb.
And then Facebook, you guess it, also Goddess
Lola
Lola
Jean.
Jean.
Okay, amazing.
So for me, it's daddyretreat.com, as you would spell it normally. Pagans with an S, paradise.co, not .com. And then you can find me also on Facebook with Dominus Eros Pro Dom. That's PRO, then DOM.
Cool.
So
Amazing.
those are my
I'm gonna
main.
put both of your stuff on the Facebook page and on the
Okay.
Instagram so people can easily find you. And David,
Oh,
where can we find you dancing and
Yeah.
writing and
Yes.
editing? And
I'm at Goldberg Han on Twitter and Insta. And most of my writing's for Time Out, davidgoldberg.online. And I usually post where I'm going to be go-go dancing, and I would love for you to bring cash and put it in my jockstrap
Yeah.
next time, usually at Club Coming, but I'm all over the place, babe.
Oh, should I give my PayPal or something?
I know.
By the way, anyone that messages me asking for me to like touch their penis or something of that nature, I send you my PayPal.
Yes,
amazing. That's amazing.
And then I don't touch your penis. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. No. Never. This has been so much fun.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for coming. LOL. I just have to ask this at the end of every session because I want to, instill some courtesy in everybody. Lola, did you finish?
No, I was edging.
You were edging?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you're cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
For
David,
sure.
did you finish?
Yeah, I finished once in therapy before this, and then I just finished now.
Amazing. And Dominus?
I feel like I have it all, like where I was edging and finishing all at the
Yeah.
same time.
Oh my God, this has been orgasmic. You guys, this episode has been so much fun. Thank you again for being here.
Thank
you. What an honor.
You made it very easy, by the way. I've not been on a podcast before. I know Lola
Oh, she
has.
popped your
So
cherry.
you broke my virginity with
First.
this. Yes. So it felt really good. This was nice. Thank
This
you
was
so
not
much.
an oopsie. This
I
was a
loved it.
good time.
This is unintentional.
Great time.
Yeah. All right. Everybody else who's been listening, follow along. Maybe you can go to your own masturbation class this week or find a tantric massage in your area. And stay on the journey with me. And as always, you can watch our live podcasts on Instagram at How Come Podcast. Send us your questions, comments. We're on Facebook too at How Come Podcast. And we want to hear from you. Love you all. And thank you again. We will see you next time on How Come.
Thank you.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by